Hello, welcome to another video. So I decided that I needed to get on with the Landy. So here's what I'm going to do today. Basically install these. I'll take that out like that. I'm going to move this around. It's been a while since I moved it. It's covered in leaves and the like. I'm going to chop up my wheels. So I sent the gearbox in to be for repaired basically. So but I'm going to take these wings off again because I want to replace this outer wing. So I've got a new one. And what else was there? Gearbox is in for repair, as I've mentioned. So that's basically going to bring me on quite considerably, to be honest with you, because that's what's been holding me up for some time now. So yeah, we'll get the gearbox done, get it in, and then what my intention then is to get it running, and then and so that it can move under its own steam is essentially what I want. Now I'm going to jack her up. Okay. Now it might be better if I do it from here actually, so I'm not working around the jack. So I sold my the white Landy. It's gone to a, which I obviously missed quite considerably, but it's gone to a good home, which is good. And no doubt I'll see it at some point in the future, maybe. Nothing like that. That didn't go to plan, did it? Okay, so we're back. We resume normal operations. Okay, so in fact, what I'll do is I'll bring you down and show you what I'm going to do. So there's the spring, the shock absorber. The spring's there. So I'm going to do this one at a time. But basically, what I wanted to do was I wanted to just clean up all around here, and should we change this? These bolts. Yeah, so basically clean all that up. I need to clean up the bottom of the steering box there, give that a clean, and put the pitman arm on. Also, I need to I have got a new one of the brackets that go on here. Well, I'll put that on as well, I think, if I've avoid it. And then, of course, I've wedged the wood in there, so that should be relatively safe. Just for the time being. So that won't take me too long. So it might potentially be a smaller, shorter video. So, but anyway, we'll go with what we got and then go from there. Stay. Okay. Right. Let's go and get the necessary tools. Okay, we're back. I suppose the only downfall to having a microphone on is you can hear me grunting and snorting and trying to get everything done. Still, you can maybe hear me speak, so Yeah, I think I'm going to take that off. Oh, for goodness sakes. Right, let's pick you back up again, because of course you keep bloody falling over. That's my fault. My very poor cameraing skills. What does that look like? Well, I suppose you can see roughly what I'm doing. We'll give it a try like that, shall we? 10 minutes in, and all you've done is seeing the ground. Oh. W and D. W. Right. So, I've got you on YouTube at the minute. Yeah. Okay, so the camera's there. I've got my speaker on, or my microphone. And what I've done to the, said to the viewers what I'm doing, which is basically I've taken this spring out. Where's the spring, which is located there, and that is the shock absorber, which goes in between the spring. Okay, now what I'm doing now is I'm going to take this other bolt out, nut and bolt, and then that'll be out then, and then I'll have the spring seat, which is what I wanted to clean up. And I might see if I've got some new ones of these in my van, because they're pretty. So I might show them on there. Have a look on the other side of the camera and see. Can you see that? Yeah. Yeah. So we're looking at that bolt and nut. You know what the difference between a bolt is and a nut? Wrong. A bolt and a screw. So the bolt has got like a bit that's not got thread on it, and this would be classed as a screw. Okay. But anyway, everybody calls them nuts and bolts. A little bit of a fun fact. So I've already lubed up the nuts, so like that, and then now, and don't touch it. If you could leave that there, because it makes it easier to watch then if the camera's all like, because it's barely fallen off of the thing twice now. So yeah, they've seen more of the ground than they have of me actually doing anything. But obviously I'll try and edit most of that out anyway. Okay, so there's the nut, nice and rusty. You put it back in the screw or the boat, as they say in some parts of the country. Down there. Yeah, so it's pretty corroded, as we can see. But it's only surface rust really. Rub it all back with my wire brush, and then we'll paint it. All right. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll move the camera again, and we'll look basically at what I'm doing. So this is here, okay? So I'm going to clean up all in the round here, right? So you want to wear the goggles? So we're going to get the drill and we're going to just clean round inside of here with the wire brush, right? So if you grab it, and the viewers at home will be able to see what we're doing. I'll hold it and you just do it round inside of here, yeah? Careful that's it. It'll kick about and move about with you. That's it. So essentially that's what we're doing, right? Yeah. See how it moves your hand about? It's hard to grip it, isn't it? That's it. Right, so what we might do now is if I hold this like that, and then if you just move that around it, like so. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay, go on in. That's it. Help you. But hold it quite tight. Go on, keep going then. Yeah, there's another bit around here. What I find is easier to do sometimes is just get it on the floor and just kind of use the use the floor to be able to help, if that makes sense. Rub it, get it in there nice and deep. And you get all the, see how it's coming like a little bit shiny in that, shining off all the rust. You know, when we were in America, obviously the last video was with Daddy talking to Uncle Edward about his motorbike, and part of what we were talking about was how you build a passion for vehicles and stuff like that. And what do you love most? You love your motorbike, don't you? Yeah. Which is quite cool, isn't it? I've got flat edges on it, just here and here. But anyway, okay, so we can take our goggles off because we get a bit much after a while. A bit sweaty. Right, next bit is we'll bring the viewers back in again. So we'll gently bring the camera over in and around here, and we'll just lift him up like so. Stay. Or would you hold it very? If I just make it so that we can see, and then I'll clean it up. You hold it there for us, exactly in that position, and you can see, watch me on the video whilst I do it. Yeah, does that make sense?
Yes.
Cool. So this is where we got to so far, as you've probably seen. I don't know if I was in shot there, but this is what you do when you just deal with what you got. So clean both sides of this, which is the spring seat, as you probably know. And we cleaned up on in and around here. I'm going to give it a bit more of some more scrubbing up in and around this area because you can't get the old wire wheel in there. So see if I can get something. Oh, and I need to, that's where the steering box is, pitman arm for the steering box is going to go, just on this bit here, Jago. Can you see that? So that bit there, so we're going to give that a clean up as well. So we'll get the wire brush in there in a minute when we get to it. Okay, so we'll put this here and we'll face it down towards what we're doing on the floor. And I'm just going to get the wire brush and clean that last bit up. Shades on. Right, so now this will be fairly interesting. Now this is what we call a tap and die set, as you can see. Now this isn't how it comes from the shop, because I've got it so that it's basically everything's fallen out and all over the place. But what we're looking at is the thread. These are what they call an M10, so metric 10mm bolt or screw, depending on how you want to see it. And normally it's either a 1.5 or a 1.25 thread. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to match up. They normally would have what they call a thread gauge, and it's like a little thing, and it's got different threaded size thread kind of pitches on this piece of like this little gauge, and essentially you can work out what because so if you were to look at that closely, you can see that it's wrong. So it's an M12 anyway. Here we are. Here's an M10. So there's your 10mm M10 and 1.25, which is quite fine, but it's not that. So it's a 150. Can you see that in the video as well? If I look closely, you can see that the thread doesn't marry up with it. It's not showing there, you just see it then. Anyway, so we know that it's a 10 by 1.5 pitch. 10mm thread, 1.5 pitch. Here we are. Look. So you see how that marries into it lovely? And if we can see it very well. Anyway, so that's what we need. So we need a die, which is that one there, M10 by 1.5. Then we're going to put it into this little tool here. So we're going to open that up. We're going to open it up like so. Screw them in a bit with the issued screwdriver. Comes in the kit. Now we're going to get the spanner, the 17mm spanner, and I'm just going to run the thread up, the die up the bolt or the screw, just to clean off that rust. Try and get it so that it doesn't. Just gently get it to start. You'll feel it. Now what you can get is a thing called a thread file, and what the thread file does is basically cleans out any of the rust. So as we saw there, so if we compare that one to the one that I haven't done yet, I've essentially recut the thread on the, we're just doing a video on the bolt, so now we can reuse that bolt, which is good. Does that make sense, Jago? Yeah. So we do that again. Now what you can do is you can use a bit of the old WD or some sort of lubricant just to make it a bit easier, but I've just sort of graunched it on there really. There it is, feels good. Unscrew that again. And there it is, nice and clean. Now what we could do similarly is we could run a tap down the nut just to clean up the thread in the nut. And there's our M10 by 1.5. Obviously I've used it before because it's all dirty. So we'll do the same, shall we? But in this instance, I think we're going to use a bit of lubrication, which will be WD-40. And then we're going to use the T-handle, or the thread, or the tap handle, if you like. Now the problem is with a nut like this, it's what they call a nylock nut, and by running the tap up of it probably isn't doing it much good, because you're getting rid of all the plastic bit, which is the bit that locks it. But for this, what we're doing, I'm just doing that first bit just to get that clean that nut so that it the steel part isn't corroded, and it's easier to screw the screw in. Worst case scenario, I probably have got some nuts. Nuts are no good at all, really. I might see if I can get put 2 new nuts on it. Mind you, a lot of it's because of the corrosion in the bottom of the screw. But in this instance, we're just going to have to go with what we got, and I'll probably have to replace them at a later date by looks of things. Annoying me. That goes in. So that's what we got to so far. I'll just tidy this up like so. I was just stuffing it back into its space. Because these things, they're great, but they just don't stay in their little sections. So you just have to kind of chuck them back again, like that. In fact, I should really take that out of there, because you know what will happen next, don't you? I'll be looking for it and I won't be able to find it. And then they'll be screaming abdabs, because I won't be able to find it. And then I'll be blaming all sorts of things. And it's actually me. Right. There. That's off the old KTM, look. Bent it. Yeah. Wouldn't believe it, would you? Came off it, bent a bolt like that. Right. Now then, what we'll do is we'll go like that. And we'll go like that. In fact, what we'll do is we'll go like that. And then, yeah, so we need to shake this up. And we're just going to put a bit of, that's etch primer. We'll let that dry off. Huh? Okay. Righto. Do you want to shake that while I scrub this down? Jago? So give that a shake. That's it, so you can hear the ball bearing inside there. Okay. Turn that over, it's dried off a bit. Do you want to do that end? Not with that bit. Yeah, where's the other stuff? Yeah, just put a bit of spray on there. Don't use too much of it. And try not to get it on your hands. Do you want a pair of gloves?
Yes.
All right, I'll get you some gloves. I'm gonna need 2 nylock nuts. Have you done it? Okay, I'll get you some gloves as well. Let's have a little look. Yeah, let's put a bit more on. Just so you see these bits on the side. That's it. And let that dry off now, because we use a bit of this on the axle as well, because it's getting pretty much empty now. But so after all of that mucking about, I've actually found all what I need, so that's good. Okay. Now, another nut that I really like is these flange nuts. Basically, similar to a nylock, which is like that. You've got this plastic piece which is in here. I'll point with my pry bar. So this plastic bit, which is the bit that locks on the nut, and basically is when this first piece is loose, and then when it gets into plastic, it goes tight, and that's what holds it from coming loose. But with a flange nut, and you'll see that these are used a lot on vehicles, mainly like lorries and things like that. I've seen a lot of them on. But basically, like, so for instance, bolting on the chassis, it doesn't rattle loose. But these bits here, as you're tightening it up, basically grip the metal, and it stops it from coming loose. But the beautiful thing I like about these is that you can just screw it all the way in, you know, like loosely, like that. Whereas with a nylock, as soon as you've got that first bit, the loose bit done, when it reaches the plastic, it goes hard and you can't do it with your fingers anymore. So yeah, but they're both good systems. But I personally prefer a flange nut. But for this instance, because we've taken off nylocks, I'll just use nylocks again, I think, and I've got them. So it's one of those things that you know, kind of, it's a bit of a one-time usage, I think, really, because once you've used them, the plastic's moved, you know, kind of cut. Right, this stuff dries pretty quickly, especially if you're only doing sort of minimal coats like what I've done there. I'll get that back in. Just enough to stop the corrosion. Right, let's get you back in over here. Okay. Although I do like the look of what we got here, and I'm pretty sure all nuts and bolts are stainless, just in case I'm going to paint it. Hopefully didn't get it on the old camera. Well, we'll let that dry off a bit and then go from there, I think. In the meantime, let's undo this nut. Okay. So obviously, now what I'm going to do is, oh, that's better. Got a bit of roll mat, you know, camping mat, as a kneeling mat, because it's so much nicer than kneeling on concrete, which is never a good place to be, as we all know. Okay, clean that thread up with the wire brush. Oh, it's lovely, that is. Right. Let's get the spring and the shock on. So, I don't know if you've already noticed, but basically I like to use these types of a bit more heavier duty than the standard version of Land Rover spring or turret retaining ring. Yeah, I just think that they're better, or that seemed to be a reasonable kind of system. So what we're going to do is I'll put you back down on the floor again, back up there, and make sure you can see what I'm doing. That's not a bad angle, to be fair. You can see the wood, and then we'll get the spring in like so. I might have to jack this up again because I don't know how much it do drop down. Yeah, so we're gonna have to jack her up. Oh, cool, that was lucky. Didn't hit you. Okay, pick the spring back up, put him in place. Now, essentially, I can just lower this down onto it. This is what I will do. Move all that out of the way. Out this way. It's going to be a bit of a milestone to a degree because no, it's not really the recognised way of doing things by holding it whilst you're lowering the jack down. But right, what I'm going to do is stop it there. So now what I need to do is go under the bonnet, and the gap, if you can see it, it's just up above here. So yeah, that's where the shock absorber is going to come through. Oh, okay. Lay that on there, take these off of here. Excess grease can go on the thread at the top. Lovely. Right, let's lower her down a bit. this is going to be a bit of a milestone, really, getting the shocks on. Been sat in the back garden for ages without any front shocks on it. That nut. Right. Now, that I think we're going to call it there. Actually, I can video the next side, but for now I need to do up that bottom bolt, or nut rather, and then yeah, and then that's the front shock absorber mounted, which I'm really pleased with. But anyway, thanks for watching. Again, you know, if you could, you know, like and subscribe, that would be brilliant, because I really want to grow this channel and do more interviews, more looking at other people's projects and my own, of course. So like I said in the last video, thanks for all the current and new subscribers. And you know, if you've got a project you want to review, we can have a review and a video of it, and you don't mind it being on YouTube, then please, you know, drop me an email and we'll make it happen. Anyway, thanks for watching. See you next time.